So they say, or there's a saying that goes, whenever you lose your way, always start back from the beginning. As I look back at my life, I ask myself, how did I end up being in the field of personal training, of this the space of fitness? Well, it's very simple. I think growing up, when I used to play sports, whatever have you, always into fitness, trying to get strong, or even before that, from whether watching Kiana Flex Appeal or watching or reading men's fitness magazines, it's always something that I gravitated towards. And in addition to that, like I did in a previous video where I talked about how I became a personal trainer, people will always ask me stuff. And I was like, I don't know why they would come to me because I wasn't the most physically imposing person in the gym or in the park. So they would ask for like fitness tips or anything like that. So whatever. But the more I've matured, take more of a I became more self-aware and more of an inventory. I can see why. Even wherever I go, people always felt comfortable speaking with me. As a child, people always come with towards me, telling me all kind of stuff. People that I don't even know will tell me their personal business. And I'm like, why are you telling me this? I think that's you should have kept that to yourself. But nevertheless, even from a child, I knew it was judgment free zone. So I always suspend judgment when dealing with people. So I guess they felt comfortable towards me. But I really didn't know how to put a word on it or describe it until later on when I started working in the hospital. Um, male and men and women, patients, because I was telling technicians, so I'll sit at the desk and they'll pass by, ask me for little stuff. I get it for them. But then they'll sit there and just end up stopping and it'll be a full blown conversation. Even it was so bad that even my coworkers would be like, Tris, you know them? I'm like, nah, I never saw them a day in my life. They always come and start talking to you. I was like, I don't know what it is. Till one day, shout out to the God Supreme Understanding. He had like a book signing there in Brooklyn in Nichols. I went there, and during the Q&A, I was talking to him about that. And he said, "Oh no, that's your gift." I was like, "What?" He said, "Oh no, no, people need someone to talk to. So that's your gift because in the world that we live in, everybody keeps everything bottled up. And there's something about you that they feel comfortable enough telling you these things. So it alleviates them." And he said, "You're actually saving their lives." And that hit me. I took a step back. I was like, "What?" I said, "You putting that all on me? That burden?" So the more I studied it and I traced back my life, and I also remember my mother said, "Oh, Tristan has a way with old people, babies, and animals." And those who know me know that's true. Even my sister jokingly called me the animal whisperer because animals always come near me or whatever have you and play with me, and they be super duper calm. And people are like, until I started studying more, and one of my mentors, an OG, shout out to Uncle Ram, talks about the house of the man, whom he got that from Master Yao. And there's four archetypes, which is one is the healer, the warrior, the hunter, and the eagle. Right? I won't go into the depths of them, which archetype, but the more I studied, I was like, oh, I'm a healer. When I read the description, I was like, oh, my strongest archetype is that I'm a healer. And what comes with that is a gift and a curse as well. I'll touch on that later. But I said, oh, this makes sense. So that's why people gravitate towards me. But also, I realized too, where I also attract certain kind of women in my life too. That's another story. But it leads to somewhat sometimes disappointed. But when it's in healthy way, as a healer, one of the archetypes is to restore things back to balance. That's probably why I like the avatar so much. But that's what it is. So now that I know that I'm a healer, it also allows me to tap into my spirituality a lot deeper. So sometimes when I speak to people, they're like, how'd you get that connecting to that? I'm like, yo, I don't know. It's just certain lines I can connect when talking and putting things together. You know what I mean? So that's why I always tell people like, yo, I like learning because I've always been a fan of like esoteric knowledge and wisdom, like things that's like not surface, but sometimes things are just not that deep. It just is what it is. But that's something that I'm drawn to. So when I pull from these things, they're like, how? That's why. So the more I understood that Joe, that's my archetype, but one of my strongest archetype, because you're supposed to have all four online that I mentioned, and then you become the complete man, or we'll say, oh, he's thorough. Tariq Nasheed would call him the Renaissance man, the street Renaissance man, something like that. But that's be like the ultimate man. the whole man, complete man, when you have all four of those archetypes online functioning with that type of balance. And with everything too, it can go from unhealthy to extreme. So you always want to have a balance. But that's one of my ways to how I'm able to connect with people. So it makes sense. As I became more aware and I was able to put the name on it, like, oh, okay, now I have that, I don't say identity, but I'm aware now to know what I can and cannot do. You see what I'm saying? But like I said, with great power come great responsibility, because I can also use it to unhealthy thing to do XYZ, which I don't. Remember, like I said, because of that, I can attract certain kind of women to me. Some people think that's cool, but I'm like, no, it's not. It really isn't. Once you understand it and you really don't play around with certain things like that, because too much is given, much is required. So sometimes too, even in those interactions, I can be disappointed because it doesn't end, or I think I didn't heal them enough to a degree. But as I matured, I realized they have a part to play in that too. But that's another story. But that's what it is. So me becoming a healer makes sense why I'm in the field of the medical or being a personal trainer. Because with all the praises that I get, more than one person tell me this. They be like, "Oh, I can tell that you care." Out of all the personal trainers, that's one of the things that they say about me. "Oh, you care. I watch you." Like I said, a young lady came up to me. She was like, "I want you to train my father because I know I see what you how you work with other people, and I know you know what you're doing. But more importantly, you care." That's a compliment. A brother told me that the other day, so I know I'm not bugging. I must be doing something right. So that's like my USP in personal training. Like I really want my clients to do well. Once we depart, because I don't expect them to be with me forever, it's for them to get enough, build a solid foundation where they can go on their own. And sometimes they want to tap back in, then we take their training to a next level. Because obviously, when they leave me, they're not the same. And then when they come back to me, I'm not the same because I've grown and expounded on the craft so much more. And I have that with clients as well. They'll go, they'll do their thing. Tris, I'm gonna come back. All right, cool, let's get to work. Then it's something different and it pushes them to a next level. So all that evolutionary process is something that I enjoy as well. So even when I do sales, because I study sales, because I was in sales as well too, it was the same thing. If I didn't believe in the product that I'm selling, I couldn't align with it. And you can feel the insincerity, or I was being incongruent, and I would feel it where I wouldn't make the sale. I'm like, I'm just not with it. I'm not aligned with it. So it's the same thing when I do with sales, everything else. In the medical field, when I was telemetry technician, where I was doing phlebotomy, I was changing someone, doing bedside, is the same thing. So it makes sense why I'm where I am. And I'm really appreciative of it too. And the more I grow is the more I'm becoming more uh, aligned with it and accepting of it and what comes with it as well. So anytime you need to find out where you're going or why you are where you are, it's not by coincidence. Everything is cause and effect. So just trace back to your childhood and figure out what did you do easy and what were you good at, and that's your gift. And then you can use that to align it with your purpose. Your purpose is just which is to help people. You see what I'm saying? And what I've noticed too with helping people, it has to be genuine. It has to, or providing a service, it has to be genuine. You see what I'm saying? So one of the scriptures I like where it says he made himself of no reputation, but he took the posture of a servant. Always think of service in what you're doing, whether you're law enforcement, in business, medical. It's all about providing a service, because as the saying goes, they don't remember what you do, they remember how you make them feel. And everybody want to feel good, right? Like Halle Berry in Monsters Ball. That's a joke. But so I'm a healer. That's one of my attributes, that I'm a healer. So that's why I'm where I am. And that's why people relate to me the way they do. And it makes sense now too as well. But now having that awareness, I have to move with more responsibility. Because like I said, like Uncle Ben said, great power comes great responsibility. So find out what your gift is, man, and share it in the world, because that's what we're here for. To leave the world better than how we found it. And it doesn't have to be on a grand scale. It could be that one or two people that you may come in contact with, and you never know, just by saying hi to them or something subtle. We may consider to be subtle a little, but it could mean the world to them. You see what I'm saying? So do your thing, man. Keep rising, keep growing, and keep doing the best you can. So I'll be fitness signing off, where we transfer you from that to gold. Train hard, train smart, and train safe. Peace.